what you need, yeah. Man, I got it. Wow.
Everybody, welcome to another edition of Box Seats. This is the show we talk about sports with comedians. And let me get one of my guests in. His name is filmmaker Jason Hayes. Jay, how you doing, sir? How's everything?
Hey, what up, Frank? Welcome to the show for with comedians with no comedians today.
I know, right? That's crazy. It's crazy. But usually the show is about Box Seats, where we talk about sports with comedians. Comedian or two will be joining us. Right now it's a little bit late. They're a little bit late, but that's okay. That's okay. The show must go on, right, Jay?
This is correct.
The show must go on. All right, so Jay, there was a story that broke out on ESPN.com, a huge article talking about Chauncey Billups basically facing years, in prison about being one of the and orchestrating rigged poker games. And according to the article, it looks like they're saying he could face decades in prison if found guilty. First, tell me what your thoughts about that.
I mean, first off, man, I think it's crazy if Chauncey really did set up his friends, to play in rigged games.
Right.
Like that's some dirty stuff if he did it. But I say if, because we don't know if he did it or not. I mean, accusations or allegations are not convictions or facts.
Mm-hmm.
But you're always facing decades behind prison whenever providing that they give you the maximum sentence on stuff. But rarely do they do that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things have to go into it. You know what I'm saying? It depends on if you give up information on somebody that's above you. It depends on whether or not you've ever been in trouble before.
Mm-hmm.
They don't tend to throw away people on a first offense kind of thing unless it's something like really egregious, like murder or something. So even though he's looking at that, I think that should he be convicted, of doing that, I don't think he gonna get multiple decades. But he gonna get some time.
Right. According to the article, this is what my takeaway from the article. According to the article, it looked like that. Again, obviously speculation on my part. It looked like they're trying to make him be the catalyst of the whole thing because, as we're finding out, it's like a virus. It's like it's spreading out throughout a lot of people, affected people in college basketball, the pros, everything else. And it looked like somebody wants Chauncey to be the fall guy. I believe everything you just said. I believe, the Fed's making it look like one thing, but I'm just concerned about obviously the allegations. I'm concerned about what they can prove versus what actually happened. And I'm also concerned about being a black man and I hate to use race as a situation with this, but we have to, because it seems like he's facing things that could look like it wouldn't have happened to a person if he wasn't a person of color. It's just my opinion. You know what I mean? What can you elaborate more?
Well, for me, I remember when the charges were first brought against Chauncey.
Right.
And when the charges, were first brought against Chauncey, they said what? With alleged mob ties.
Right.
So the allegation and the inference from the start was that he was rigging games along with associate, like mob associates, and they were mob run games, and now they're trying to pivot to make it seem like Chauncey concocted this whole thing himself. I don't believe that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Not for a second. But you got to look at who we got in control in this country right now,
mm-hmm.
and who he did business with.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe this goes up, to like some personal friend of his, you know what I'm saying, of which he's trying, to like, well, I'll get you out the mess, because he don't care about convicting criminals.
Mm-hmm.
He cares about the show. He cares about the dog and pony show and any kind of distraction. But if you're going to try to convince any jury that Chauncey Billups himself did this, Chauncey going to go home.
One final question about this, and then I'm going to give actually my thought too. One final question about this. Do you think they're going to try to figure out a way to tie this into some of the gambling allegations that's been happening and tied into a couple of other NBA players that's already been busted? Do you think these cases are tied in together? Like the Terry Rozier case and a couple other NBA players. You think it's all tied in together? What's your thoughts?
The only similarities that I think appear is that is gambling.
Mm-hmm.
And and it's just way too easy to gamble. It's 1 million casinos in your pocket.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You got like 20 casinos in your pocket. All you gotta do is take it out, and place a bet. So I don't think it's necessarily tied to it like that. I mean, could there be some overlap between people, man, who are involved with this, but also involved in illegal sports gambling? Yeah, probably, but I don't think that there's like any like RICO kind of thing going on right now.
See, and I'm glad you said that, because at the end of the day, I don't think there is either, Jay. But my concern is the NBA is trying to make again, like I said, they're trying to make somebody be the fall guy. But what it seems like is that it's like that's that lane, but there's also like there is lanes of legal gambling. There is, apps of gambling up here that's allowed. Everything else, I don't think the average player or coach or anything even understands the lane that they should be in. That's what I think. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're, I don't know. Maybe they did know what they were doing. Maybe they did. Maybe, I don't know. But I think there's going to be a lot more NBA players, especially youngsters, coming out that are going to be charged with stuff because they don't realize they blurred the lines. I could be wrong.
But based upon what we've seen so far, they haven't said anything about Chauncey gambling on games. He gambled in poker.
Right.
Allegedly set people up to be, to be fleeced in poker games, like close friends of his.
Right.
So to me, that's a separate kind of argument from the overall sports gambling, like Terry Rozier or the kid that played for Indiana who got kicked out the league and all this stuff.
Right. Well, let me just I forgot to mention the dot I'm connecting here. I'm saying, and I was assuming that player A lost a huge lot of money in a poker game, and then insinuated or led certain people to believe, well, I could be able to help you if we're gambling and everything else to bet on said game and everything else because they're in such debt on the poker tables. That's where I'm thinking how the two connected. I'm sorry I didn't mention that, but that's that's where I'm thinking of why the Fed, because to me it's just too much here right now. And of course, we all know that gambling is now legal a lot of places, but there's a lot of players who are losing their shirt, and there's a lot of players who are losing a lot of money because they're in serious debt with gambling. You know what I mean? So who's to say they didn't go, play on the tables and stuff like that? Because I heard Chauncey, and listen, this gambling stuff, Jay, has gone on for a very long time. When I used to go down to the hotels and try to get me interviews and everything else, I used to bump into NBA players to go into their rooms. They were always gambling. Like, they're always gambling. You heard KG and these guys gambling on the plane. You heard about one NBA player knocking out another NBA player because they betting too much money. You know what I mean? Kobe lost some money, gambling. Like, the gambling thing is happening a lot. So my thing is, if you're losing and you're losing your shirt and you come across the wrong person, you see where I'm going with this? That's what I was thinking.
But no, I mean, I understand that. I mean, and the thing is, I make it simple. You definitely can't rule it out,
right?
Providing that they don't have the money, to pay for it. But I mean, these guys make a lot of money now. Mm-hmm. So, to me, it just feels like, if you're the Fed, you got to make one case at a time,
right? And
it's hard to prove one case. It's really difficult to prove, essentially two cases at once. So they got to just pick, what hill they want to die on and go from there. But again, the Justice Department that we have right now is not a normal Justice Department.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? So anything that they bring, I question the merits of any case that they bring. It could be completely legitimate, but given that their resume and the track record, I don't have faith in the AG. I don't have faith in the president. I don't have faith in anything in this country right now.
And the funny thing is, I'm right 100% with you. I don't have faith in none of that stuff either, bro. I just don't. All right, let me jump into the next story. I saw something today, another story today, Jay, that really bothered me as a college basketball fan and have been for decades. And I'm sure you have been too for decades. Oh, yeah. I really find it disturbing that the NCAA is having discussions, a lot of discussions about changing the tournament as we know it and expanding the tournament. There is talks right now to make sure that they're going to expand the tournament to 72 or 76 teams, and can happen as soon as next season. Coach K has come out. He's adamantly against it. I understand everything reason why he's against it right now, because it waters down the content and the quality of the games, because now you're putting in just about anybody. You know what I mean? I understand that. I agree with everything he said. Where are you at with expanding? Do you like the expansion of the NCAA tournament? And can you tell me what your thoughts on why you think that the NCAA is even considering it?
Well, I mean, we know. I mean, first, let me say we know why they're considering it. Like that's obvious, you know,
Yep.
and I'll circle back to that. But I'm not a curmudgeon. You know what I'm saying? I'm not like you know, like an inflexible person
Mm-hmm.
who can't see the benefits of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because think about it. Like every year, you watch ESPN, and
Mm-hmm.
every time tournament season starts getting closer, there's a team that's hot and they need to win their conference tournament, you know, to make the big tournament,
Mm-hmm.
or they got really hot and they came just short, and then they went to the NIT and won it all,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you know, and so all they talk about, this team is on the bubble, this team is on the bubble. They might get in, they might not, right? And those are usually about 8 or 9
Right. Right.
really good teams.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That you can make the case for. Now, you got to understand, to go to 72 or 74 teams, you're only adding 8 to 10 teams.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe instead of having those bubble teams miss the tournament, you just include them. And we know why they're doing it, because they need content.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean now, not only are they advertising, I mean showing games on the regular channels like CBS, you know, NBC and all affiliates and cable channels, they also stream on apps now,
Right.
and apps have subscriptions.
Right.
So the more content that you have, the more you can charge for subscriptions, you know, and more members that you know that you bring your apparatus. That's really what it's about. They don't care about competitiveness. They care about making money and selling ad space to advertisers. And the sooner people just accept that that's what it is, the happier everybody's going to be.
Yeah, but you're not. Are you not upset? Well, I mean, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm too old school. I don't like. Sometimes I don't like change in some things. And to me, one of the things I'm not liking change is the NCAA tournament, because I like the bracket tournament. I like to be able to fill out the bracket and drawing it down and trying to figure out. You know, I used to do it every year. Okay, who's going to come in and everything else. I think this kind of takes away a little bit. I mean, you still could have it to a certain extent, but to me, it takes a little bit of the shine off of trying to figure out the 68 teams coming in. You know, and trying to figure out who's going to win and all that stuff. Now, it to me, it is watering it down, and not just a little bit. To me, it's watering it down a lot. To me, I mean, I don't know.
It's still, I mean, but it's still going to play out the same way.
Right.
The only thing is, it's probably going to start 2 to 3 days sooner than it normally starts.
Right.
You know, winning, you know, your conference tournament is going to matter a little bit less.
Right.
But you already know how it's going to go, because if there's a, you know, like a, I don't know, like a lower level team that gets in, like Norfolk State is not ever going to beat Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So if those teams get in the first round, and you know, and they run into like a Kentucky, or they run, you know, against, I don't know, you know, Alabama, you know, somebody that's really good, it's still gonna eventually get back to the thing, because you're still gonna play one game at a time, and one team is gonna go, one team's gonna advance. All they're trying to do, like instead of showing games, that one game on Monday night,
Yep.
you know, the bogus game,
Yep.
and then starting the real tournament on Thursday, they'll probably just start on Wednesday now. You know what I'm saying? That gives them an extra day of programming, an extra, you know, few hundred ad spots, you know, to make money, you know, for advertisers. And that's really what it's about at the end of the day.
Yeah, a couple more $1 million more, because if you can start one day earlier, you definitely gonna make a whole lot more money.
They're gonna make hundreds of millions more.
So that brings me up to my final question about this, man, is why do you think Coach K is against this? You know what I mean? I've seen some of the quotes he said, but why do you think he's against it? Because it seemed like he's so adamant against it himself.
I think you're asking the wrong person, Frank, because you know I'm an adamant Duke hater.
I know.
D-O-O-K Duke. It is Duke.
Yeah.
So I can't ever be fair when it comes to Coach K. You know, I'll say, you know, if you ask me, I'll say because he's a stupid, you know, ball face. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
But more than any, I mean, but to me, it feels like he's just being a curmudgeon. I mean, what he's saying, I mean, I feel like his only argument against it can be, well, we've never done this.
Mm-hmm.
So why would we change something that works?
Right.
And I get that, but here's the thing. All change isn't bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like some things, I mean, the format we have now wasn't the format
Right.
before they did it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I don't know why he would be adamant against. I mean, I would love to hear what he actually said, you know, or see him in an interview to make his case. I'm sure, you know, being on the inside of it, he may have a take that we don't as a viewer, but his inside take doesn't matter because at the end of the day, it's about eyeballs. If you ain't bringing the eyeballs to the screen, you can't justify your existence. And you just got to keep selling ad space at the end of the day.
100%. Now, the next story, bro, is very interesting because I really wanted to see what your thoughts were because we're talking about Rashawn Jones, Miami-Dade. Here's the story as it is. It says a lack of direct evidence and inconsistent testimony from the lead Miami-Dade police detective caused most of the jury to decide prosecutors hadn't proved ex-Miami Hurricanes player Rashawn Jones killed teammate Brian Potter, according to jurors who spoke with ESPN. Jones was charged with second-degree murder on November 7, 2006, killing of Potter, who was shot once in the head of his apartment parking lot. However, Jones was not charged in the case until 2021, and the case, with nearly all of the evidence against him, was circumstantial amid a flurry of police missteps that came to light over the years, in a large part of ESPN doing some reporting, making some stuff come to light that the police hadn't even made. Jones has maintained his innocence throughout the whole thing and declined any plea offers just before the trial would have limited his prison time instead of risking up to life in prison. So that's kind of huge note to say there too, because I know you and I both are sitting there saying I would have done the same thing. Either, you know, I'm going to go to jail, you're going to find me guilty, but I'm not going to plead to something I did not do. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what we're talking about here with Rashawn Jones' murder trial. I don't know if you remember this case at all or anything else, because you obviously was in the area at the time, Miami. What's your thoughts on this Rashawn Jones murder trial that seems to be all over all the talk between Miami-Dade?
So here's my thing. I remember watching that ESPN documentary, you know, on Potter. I remember when it happened. It was crazy. And seeing all of his former teammates from Miami and their reaction when they said it was him, they believed that it was him.
Wow.
So these are the dudes who were in the locker room with him. Like, they didn't suspect it, but they said that when they heard it, they said, yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I didn't see one dude that was a teammate of his say, I don't believe that he's capable. You know what I mean? So there's what's true, and there's what you can prove in court.
Right.
And I don't know how that's going to play out in the grand scheme of things, but personally, I think he did it. Personally.
Okay.
Based upon what I've seen, you know, given, you know, how, I mean, you know, what a person had to be to Patty, you know, to get close to him, given what was happening. You know, dudes get emotional about this stuff. So circumstantial doesn't mean that it's not true.
Right.
Circumstantial just means that they ain't got no eyewitness account of video, you know, to verify it. So, and all you need is just one juror, maybe two jurors to say, I don't know. It can be 11-1 for all we know.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one holdout. I don't want to believe. I mean, they don't want to believe it. They locked in on something that doesn't really matter. But they're gonna retry him. I mean, if they can't reach a conclusion and it ends in a mistrial, I bet you they immediately refile that case. Well, because I think he did it too.
They did say in the article that one juror stood out and said that he thought he did it, and the other 6 said that he thought he didn't do it, or the other 5, because it was like a six person jury, which I thought was strange. But
how was that?
I don't know. I read the article, and it seemed like it wasn't a 12-man jury. It definitely wasn't a 12-man jury, and I read it on ESPN. But regardless, one person stood out and said he thought he did it, and the other thought he didn't do it, based on the evidence that the police brought in. And they also stated in the article, so I don't know much about this article. They also stated in the article that they thought that the police did a major sloppy job of putting this whole thing together. So
that could be true.
It's strange hearing you say this, because I don't remember this. I don't know nothing about it. I read it today. I thought it was interesting. So that's why I was very interested in seeing what you said, because I know you was probably down in Miami at the time when this happened.
Well, I'm from Florida. I
Right.
love, I'm a Florida State fan. Miami is our biggest rival.
Right.
So I pay attention to everything that goes on between Florida State,
Right.
Miami, and University of Florida.
Right.
Because, it's called the Big Three in the state of Florida. We're always competing in football. But as much as I hate them boys, it's a level of respect that you have for them too, because they always bring out the best, in my team. So when that happened, man, I was like, man, that's crazy that happened. And he was the second Miami player killed. You know what I'm saying? They had a linebacker killed before him, who was on the team, by somebody that he knew. Well, no, it was ex-boyfriend that killed him, of the girl he was dating. But yeah, now I followed this story, man. It came out of nowhere, but just when you hear the circumstances, it's almost like there was nobody else but this dude that could have done. I could be wrong, man. Maybe the jurors are hearing something that we ain't hear about.
Is this the area where Aaron Hernandez is from and did all that craziness?
No. Aaron Hernandez went to the University of Florida. He was in Gainesville. That's like north central.
Gotcha.
All
right, so let's move on to the next big hot topic, man. And of course, we all heard this today, man, and is in the NFL news. The leading thing, I think one of the leading stories in the NFL is that the Arizona Cardinals informed Kyler Murray that they intend to release him on the first day of the league year, which is next Wednesday, unless they get a trade between now and then, which they don't expect. And honestly, I don't expect it either. Arizona already owes him $36.8 million guaranteed in this upcoming season, and another $19.5 million would have been triggered on March 15th for 2027. Which teams would you want to see him play for? And are you surprised that this is happening? What's your take?
I'm not surprised it's happening. Not at all, because they've underachieved.
Yeah.
He's had offensive-minded head coaches, who are really good at scheme. And when you hear a team constantly complaining about a guy not being serious enough in the building, whether it's true or not, you don't want that on your resume, especially as a quarterback. Like, that's the one guy who has to be the most about business person in the building, because he's essentially the CEO of the team. And it seems like, Kyler, for whatever reason, maybe he's been a star his whole life, a little bit of, hubris or whatever, they don't feel like he's worked as hard as he should, prepare it as he should. And then he's hurt on top of that. But he's a small guy. So I don't know where he can end up. The Jets make the most sense because they don't have a quarterback. And they really just want to sell tickets at the end of the day. And I can't think of another team outside the Jets, Pittsburgh, as a starter. And then every other place that's left, I believe, is going to be a backup situation.
Well, what'd you think when they asked this question today on a couple of these sports shows? What'd you think about Minnesota taking a fly at him? What's your thoughts about that, landing on the Vikings?
They got offensive weapons. Right. And honestly, that would be the best thing for him, because they play in a dome.
Right.
And he's only 5'10". You know what I'm saying? So, the Meadowlands is a tough place to play, man. It's cold out there, man. And that wind be whistling, and then Foxborough and Buffalo.
Right.
The AFC East, man, you only get like one nice weather game. You know what I'm saying? And that's in Miami. So I don't know, man. Minnesota might make some sense for him. Listen, this I know for sure. He better than JJ McCarthy.
Yeah, that's true.
He better than him. But I think Minnesota is gonna make a run at Kirk Cousins if they feel like he got anything left in the tank, man. But how old is Kirk now? What, like 40?
I think he's 37. I think he's 37.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. Well, here's the reason why I wanted to bring up Minnesota too, because to be honest with you, I think Minnesota makes the most money for them because of literally cost. You know what I mean? Cost is what it's all about. And if literally Arizona got all that dead money on the books, you know what I mean, then why not make the run at him versus Kirk Cousins? You know what I mean? My man D Jones has jumped in the building too. D Jones, what's happening, bro? How you doing?
Oh, I want to see him running wild in Minnesota in the NFC North. I want to see it. Why
you want to see it? You got to talk to me. Tell me why.
Well, there's certain teams in my life I grew up not really respecting. One, how they did the greatest quarterback of my life, they just disrespected his career. They disrespected one of the greatest wide receivers' careers, and they should get everything they got coming to them. So Kyler Murray running rapid against the Lions will make my day.
Well, Kyler Murray with what's the wide receiver's name in Minnesota?
Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, that the reason why I wanted to bring it up, man, is because if Kyler Murray has like a revenge season in him and he has a great wide receiver like that, we could be looking at something special, like a Daniel Jones type of situation. You know what I mean? What you think, D. Jones?
I want to see it, man. Justin Jefferson, he deserves a good, and Kyler Murray can play, like 9 out of the 17 games. Kyler Murray is good.
Mm-hmm.
It's when Call of Duty come out, he started to fail a little bit.
He started fading.
Yeah, like maybe y'all should just let him play at the facility.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know, but I want to see it. I would love to see it.
Jay, he's all right. He's right with that. When Call of Duty come out, Kyler Murray do be fading. He fades fast. He fades fast. But can you imagine Kyler Murray with Justin Jefferson, man? I mean, that does make a lot of sense. You know what I mean?
It would be dope if he prepares. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes getting released is a wake-up call to you that, somebody don't believe in you, man. So maybe, it's a wake-up call to say, I got to get my stuff together.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And honestly, he was the first overall pick. He went to a bad situation and he played right away. And he didn't play terrible. So maybe he could benefit by one saying, you're not bigger than the shield. We'll get you out of here, in a New York minute. But also maybe sitting like what Sam Darnold had to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like Sam Darnold was terrible for the Jets. He was terrible for Carolina. He made that quick stop in San Francisco, but he sat.
Mm-hmm.
And he studied under a really good offensive guru in Shanahan. And he said that's how he learned how to play quarterback in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
So then he went to Minnesota, lit it up. They was like, nah, it's fools go. We don't believe it. So they got up off of him. And then he went to Super Bowl the next year. That's crazy. Maybe he needs something like that.
Minnesota's regretting that all day.
Absolutely. They're regretting not re-signing Sam Darnold.
All day. So that brings me to you, D. Where do you think Kyler Murray lands if it's not Minnesota? Because honestly, it's a huge topic today because everybody's surprised he got cut this early. You know what I mean?
Maybe Miami. I don't know. Pittsburgh. I don't know what Pittsburgh is doing. I don't know what Aaron Rodgers is doing. So I really don't know. Maybe the Jets, but if I'm Kyler Murray, I don't want to go to Miami or the Jets. Not to play. I don't want to go to Miami to play for them out, but I would live there. You know what I'm saying? But if not them, maybe the Jets because of the coach.
So you're on the thought process of he just want to play somewhere. I'm gonna tell y'all both of this, man, and I firmly believe this. I'm 90% on the fence of not even bringing him in. I'd be petrified of bringing him in on my team.
Well, he getting paid from Arizona regardless.
Yeah, he getting paid. Yeah,
right.
He getting paid.
It's dead money.
So if you pick him up, you don't have to give him that much money.
But that's not my concern. My concern is nowadays owners have really short tempers because they see how fast people are turning teams around. You know what I mean? And if you're leveraging your career and your head coach resume on a dude who wants to play Call of Duty most of the time, you're gonna have some serious problems if he decides, I don't feel like playing this year.
But this season he gonna have to play for his career. Black quarterbacks don't get that many shots.
Right.
But he might. What happens if he's one of them video game dudes who don't care? What happens if that happens?
He can be back in Texas eating barbecue.
Yeah.
Listen, hey, if he does that, this time next year he'll be in Texas, open up a rib joint. That's what he's gonna be doing.
Yeah, that's very possible. Might be trying to get to baseball. Might be trying to get into baseball. You know what
Chicken Littles is what they should call it.
Yeah.
He's a 5'10" quarterback, man. If anybody got to prepare, is him.
Yeah.
Yeah, all day. So Jay, that leads me to another big story that happened today, man. And I ain't gonna lie, I was shocked about this one. Let me see if I find it. The Cincinnati Bengals aren't franchise tagging standout pass rusher Trey Hendrickson. We all know Trey Hendrickson is the anchor of Cincinnati Bengals defense. He's 31. He will become an unrestricted free agent coming off his fourth straight Pro Bowl and back-to-back 17 and a half sack seasons. I don't know what the hell's going on in Cincinnati, Jay. I really don't. But you got to talk to me, bro. Tell me what your thoughts are.
What team you say it was?
Cincinnati Bengals.
Well, it makes perfect sense.
I knew you were going to do that.
You know what I mean? It makes perfect sense. It's the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
And he plays on what side of the ball? Offense or defense?
Defense.
It makes perfect sense. Because all their money is tied to the offensive side of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of understand the math. Because he probably wants at least 5 years or 4 years, with a fifth year option. He's 31. I can't remember a pass rusher who was still tearing the league up at 35, 36. You know what I'm saying? The odds are not great for that. And they don't want to pay him because Mike Brown doesn't want to pay anybody. So I can see the Bengals getting off of him, but it doesn't make sense to give up your best defensive player unless you just like resigning yourself to losing, saying we're going to lose anyway, so I may as well lose cheap.
See, this is my issue I have, D. Jones. This is my issue I have because if they don't sign him, what could be the repercussions of, and this is what I see, D. Jones. The repercussions I see is that some of the star players not going to want to play there no more, especially if they have another losing season, i.e. their quarterback, i.e. two of their star wide receivers. They're going to be sick and tired of losing because they're going to feel, to me, they're going to feel that the team is not doing anything to help make the team better. The ownership, I'm speaking too much. D. Jones, what's your take on this, what the Cincinnati Bengals are doing by not tagging Trey Hendrickson?
The Bengals they're weird because their defense is trash.
Right.
Trash. And he gets 17 sacks and they're trash. Like, that's only defensive player they have. Then their offense can put up 45 points, but their offensive line gets Burrow hurt every year. So it's like, how do you put up this many points? But he always hurt. But when, so they should have traded him 2 seasons ago, got some offensive linemen to take care of their number one asset, but then the defense will be even worse. So that's weird. They should have traded him a couple seasons ago when they could have got even more for him, I believe. You know what I'm saying? And improve that team. But it's hard to improve when you're taking away your best player on defense and your offensive line still trash.
So, Jay, do you think Joe Burrow, once they have another lousy season, because they're about to, you think Joe Burrow is going to request to get traded out of Cincinnati? Or one of their star wide receivers?
If this season looks anything like the last 3 seasons have looked in Cincinnati, I can see Joe Burrow demanding to get up out of there.
Mm-hmm.
I can see him saying, "I want out." Either he's going to want out, or Jamar Chase is going to want out, if not both.
Oh, what about T. Higgins? What you think about him?
Well, T is there, man, but I'm talking about the dudes that everybody wants.
Mm-hmm.
Now most teams want T. Higgins for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants Jamar Chase. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? To be on their roster. So I don't know, man. Those dudes, every game, they're taking life out of their bodies.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And they ain't trying to be out there just for the check, man. They do want to win. They want to compete and have a chance to win. And if ownership is not showing a willingness to win, I don't see how you're going to be able to keep the stars you got, and certainly don't see how you're ever going to attract free agents.
That's perfect. That makes perfect sense. D. Jones, where you at with this? You think T. Higgins, Joe Burrow, anybody? You think anybody request to get traded up out of there?
Yeah, I can only think of 4 let's say, great quarterbacks that finish with the team they started with.
Mm-hmm.
It really doesn't happen. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think if the problem is Joe Burrow like that coach, and that coach not good. So some of this problem is Joe Burrow's fault.
Right.
A
How
lot
you
of this,
figure? You explain.
because if he had a problem with the coach, they asked him last season, and he was like, no, I like that coach. Keep the coach. But I think it's got a lot to do with coaching. If you keep going to bat for this coach who is not doing a good job as a leader, half of this is already Joe Burrow's fault. So he might not get traded, but he ain't gonna end his career with the Bengals.
You know, I hope he demands a trade right now. I ain't gonna lie. I hope he demands a trade and gets up out of it, because Joe Burrow's a really good quarterback. You know what I mean?
He should go to Minnesota.
Yeah, exactly. He would be. Imagine him in
But-
Minnesota.
But he
But,
already got the number 1 or 2 receiver. So, but Minnesota got a defense.
tight end good too.
Yeah,
Yeah, tight end good too.
yeah. You know, I like Jay. I'm gonna leave you with this one last question, Jay, about Minnesota. I mean, about Cincinnati Bengals and everything else. We all know that this is their make or break year. Is it possible that maybe it's coaching, or do you think it's possibly management? Because what D just said, he said it's coaching. I'm really thinking that it's management, because what's that phrase that Bill Parcells said, you can only make certain things once you get the groceries. You know what I mean? Like, you got to get something good to make something good with it. You know what I mean? You can't make a great meal if you're getting spoiled food. You know what I mean? That's probably the best analogy I could think of as close to that. You know, what's your take on that, Jay?
In regards to if it's management or coaching,
Yeah, management and coaching.
yes,
Exactly.
it's both.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But listen, this is a coach who took them to a Super Bowl now,
Yeah,
and they came really close to winning that Super Bowl.
yeah.
So we know this guy can coach. We know the players that they kept, at least the core players, can play. So you have to be more inclined to blame management in a situation like this, because we know when the coach got the right ingredients, he can take it to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
So it's incumbent on the GM. Unfortunately, he's also the owner for the most part, in Mike Brown, who's cheap as hell, to keep the roster refreshed. And so he's of the mindset, it seems, that he's going to hit on every player they draft in the draft. So when they hit on somebody, they opt not to pay him. They're almost like, what the LA Clippers were under Donald Sterling.
Mm-hmm.
Every year they draft the number one overall, and most of the time they hit on those picks, but they, when the contract was up, they let the dude walk because he didn't want to pay him.
Right.
So now, to his credit, he did pay Burrow, which he didn't normally do.
Mm-hmm.
He did pay Higgins, which he did normally do, and he did pay Chase.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So now to him, he's looking like all I'm on the offensive side of the ball. We just got to outscore people. He's just looking to just like be, just pinch people, as they go by on defense right now.
Right. I can't even knock anything you just said, but I will say this. One thing to add on to that, the caveat to that is he paid all 3 of them, but they all went through some drama to get that money. You know what I mean? It wasn't an easy, oh yeah, okay. I when they came up, they all 3, and those 2 wide receivers, they even held out a little bit. You know what I mean? They didn't even play.
They had to.
Yeah, because they had to get their money up. Which leads me to you, D Jones. This next topic, I definitely wanted to talk to you. I was hoping Howie would be up in here, because the Texans are acquiring running back David Montgomery in a trade with the Detroit Lions. And I ain't gonna lie, D Jones, this makes the Detroit Lions a little bit weaker, bro. It just makes them a little bit weaker. You know what I mean? I'm not liking the trade myself, but I wanted to see what Detroit Lions fans thought and Detroit haters thought. So I got you up, D Jones. What's your take?
Yeah, the Detroit hater. I think that, I think that the Lions are freeing up some money to pay the people they drafted. They are loyal to the people they drafted, and I think they're gonna pay Jahmyr Gibbs. I think they're gonna pay Amon-Ra some more. They're gonna probably pay Laporta and probably somebody else, Jameson Williams, and I think he got some money. But I think the Lions are trying to free up money. They really need help on the offensive line. They traded him for an offensive lineman. I don't know how good he is, and they got another pick. And he wanted to be out of Detroit anyway. He was already here, like displaying his frustrations of them not using him anymore. He was a beast. He's really a starter, and I'm sure he wanted to be a starter again. I think I don't know, he might be a free agent next year. So unless the Texans re-sign him, but the Texans look better at running back. They still don't have an offensive line, but I like the Lions GM as far as drafting, but when it comes to the other decisions, I don't know how good he is.
So, Jay, what's your take on that, Jay?
He's 28 years old, and he's basically the second string back.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to pay that guy. I mean, they've so devalued the running back position right now in the NFL. If you get like 4 or 5 good years in the NFL as a running back, that's about what you can expect right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you got to get your money like very early on, and I get him trying to get paid, you know, but he was never going to start over Gibbs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if you know anything about football, you know, and paying attention to it, the easiest position to transition from college to the NFL is running back.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they feel confident that we got Gibbs in the house. We can find, you know, a rookie running back to come in and contribute. Jacksonville hit on the kid out of Virginia Tech last year. You know, like, and I mean, Virginia Tech sucked. I mean, they've sucked like the past 10 years. And they had a dude, man, you know, who basically like an all rookie team running back.
Mm-hmm.
So you can find a running back anywhere. So I kind of understand them with that.
All right. So lastly, in the NFL, I want to talk about the Seahawks not tagging their Super Bowl MVP, Kenneth Walker III. I thought that was kind of crazy to me because honestly, that dude was a beast for the Seahawks. You know what I mean? He carried them all the way through the whole season and everything else. But they put him out there right now. You know what I mean? Not tagging him out there allows him to be able to be picked up and scooped by somebody else. D. Jones, what's your take on that, bro?
Yeah, like Jay said, the league don't value running backs. They don't start to make it to their second contract with the team they on. K9 been a beast since he played for Michigan State. Watch out for Kansas City picking him up. That might be a huge pickup for Kansas City. And then the Seahawks, they're trying to re-sign a lot of their players that they got on defense and some on offense. And Jackson Smith might be one of the best receivers. They got to give him some money. So I guess, and they had another receiver that got hurt. So I guess they figured we can let this one go, even though he did win Super Bowl MVP. I mean, they cheated, but that's a whole nother story.
Jay, where you at with this, man? Because at the end of the day, you did hit the nail on the head with, you know, people not valuing running backs and everything else. But he is good enough, in my opinion, to help turn the franchise around. What's your take on that, bro? He's
definitely good enough, you know, to help a lot of teams be consistent, but scheme matters too. Now he can end up, you know, going to the next team, you know, where his running style doesn't fit their scheme, and he can suck. We've seen that happen. So, but the bottom line is this: NFL teams are not willing to have a $14-15 million a year running back on their roster.
Right.
They just decided they were not going to do that. The position is too volatile. We can't have that amount of money tied to a guy who gets hit every play. And, you know, odds of him being around are not great. And that's why they just devalued the position. And again, Seattle probably feel like I can go get a running back in the draft. I watched the combine this weekend. I mean, running backs running 4.3s, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, I've never seen them run as fast as they're running, man. And I was blown away. I was like, these dudes look like they were bionic. You know what I mean?
230 pounds, man, running 4.3 something. That's insane.
Yeah. In our lifetime, I think we're gonna see somebody running 4.2, bro. I honestly think that's gonna happen in our lifetime. And
back in '97,
we've seen 4.21.
Huh?
We've seen 4.21 because Xavier Worthy ran that. Kansas
No,
City.
that's right. That's right.
But
Yeah.
back in 1997, I was fast.
Yeah, well, let's get back to 2026, bro. Let's get back to 2026.
I'm not fast.
So my next topic I want to talk about, and D Jones, you're gonna go up first, man. Is I don't know if y'all saw the Lakers over the weekend, man, with this JJ Redick and Luka Doncic situation that happened and exploded over the sidelines, everything else. Bro, I've been saying it for months. I've been saying it for months. I literally did not think that Luka going to the Lakers was a good thing, and that's just my opinion. Before I even dive into more of my opinion, because I want to talk a lot about this. D Jones, tell me what your opinion is about Luka and JJ Redick, and the people out there are demanding, which is crazy to me, they're demanding that JJ Redick would get fired because of this situation. Where you at with this?
Listen, you got a diva point guard, which is Luka. He's definitely a diva. He gonna argue with the refs. He gonna do what he want to do. And you got a coach who coach like he got white privilege. So
he went to Duke. That's why.
Right. So
DOOK. Duke.
Most of these divas can do and say what they want to do to their coach. Look what Anthony Edwards just did to his coach. But JJ Redick, like, hold on, brother. I got white privilege. You can't talk to me like that. You're not even from here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And how did JJ Redick even be qualified to be a head coach? So it's not working. Somebody gonna have to go, and they paying Luka way too much money for him to leave.
But the thing is, the reason why I wanted to bring this up, D Jones, is because Luka been doing this thing since Rick Carlisle. You know what I mean? Rick Carlisle is a hell of a coach. You know what I mean? Rick Carlisle, his whole issue was Luka be complaining too much and not running back playing defense. And
but I never seen him
situation.
Walk away from Carlisle when he was trying to talk to him.
Say that again?
I never seen him walk away from Rick Carlisle when he was trying to talk to him.
He was younger then too.
He was. Yeah, he was. I think I saw him do it a couple of times. So I don't know. I'm just, the disrespect is crazy to me. But before I even dive in more on that, Jay, tell me your thoughts about this.
This is my thoughts. Full disclosure, I've hated the Lakers my entire life until LeBron went to them. Mm-hmm. Never liked the Lakers. I hated Magic, hated Kareem, respected them, but I hated them. And Laker fans are cornballs because they always side with the player.
Right.
Even when the player's an asshole, they always side with the player. Now, this man is, this man got to be professional. The player got to be professional too. But it also explains why Luka left Dallas. Because he sucks on defense. But people get mesmerized by the fact that he scored 35 and they forget all the other deficiencies that he has. I've never liked Luka's game, personally. He's a legitimate scorer, but I don't like his game because I don't think you can win with him. Because he can't guard and he's a volume scorer. He's not efficient with the scoring. So now you've gotten him in LA, the most overblown place, to feed egos and all this other stuff. Man, I mean, it brings up the worst in people. And you got this guy here. He's committed to all this money committed to him. So what's he gonna do with him now? You gotta let it ride out and let this whole thing implode and see what happens.
Well, I've been on the record, D Jones, as I said, I don't think Luka will ever win an NBA championship because of everything because of everything that he just said. But also, I want to even say that I've gone on the record also by saying I thought it was a great move when Dallas traded him to the Lakers so Dallas could get up from under him. Do you think now the Dallas fan base is looking at this right now and saying, wait a minute, we might have, avoided something because we didn't have to pay him as much money and our future looks bright and maybe the Lakers' future doesn't look so bright, D. Jones? What's your take?
You can't tell fans not to be mad. They fans. They love Luka out there. Mm-hmm. And whether he win or lose, Luka got them to the finals. Now, I don't think you can win with Luka either. I call Luka the white James Harden. They got the same game to me.
Same game.
Dribble, step back,
shoot.
And Luka can put up 50 and 10 assists.
Yeah.
but he gonna take the whole shot clock to do it.
Yeah.
And then on the other end, he don't play a lick of defense. He is the white James Harden. It's crazy how James Harden got MVPs, but I don't see. I don't see him winning. And I really thought him and LeBron was going to. I thought LeBron can get him to another level playing with LeBron. You know what I'm saying? I thought it might motivate him to play a little harder, even though LeBron older now, he don't play defense no more, but he gonna motivate you. And if you don't do right, he getting your butt up out of there. You know what I'm saying? But it ain't working. I still like to see them play together. I thought LeBron have a better impact on Luka than he having, but no, it's just not gonna happen. But Dallas is always gonna be mad unless Cooper Flag wins the championship. Is funny because Draymond Green was just talking about all the people who criticized the GM who got Luka out of there, talking about he got him out of there because he said he don't play defense and he argued with people. And y'all was like, oh, he need to be fired. Now everybody's saying, oh, he was kind of right.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I've been saying it. We all know, we all been saying it. I think it's all the same thing we all been saying, right? So, Jay, that leads me to LeBron and Luka. We all talked about this thing might not be working and everything else. And now LeBron and Luka ended up imploding the other day. So, do you think LeBron imploding on Luka will save JJ Redick's job? Because I think, this is my opinion, I think LeBron is the reason why JJ Redick is still there. You know what I mean? I think he's the reason why he didn't get fired mid-season.
Yeah.
What's your take?
Yeah, as long as JJ remains in Bron's good graces, man, he'll be all right.
Mm-hmm.
For as long as Bron is there.
Right.
But call me old school, man, but I just feel like you gotta respect the hierarchy. I don't care what they pay a player. When that dude is in charge of coaching you, you gotta show respect to that guy. You know what I'm saying? Especially, if you out there messing up, it's one thing to be upset, and show emotion and stuff like that. It's another thing to be disrespectful to your coach. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just some next level stuff that I don't think should ever happen in front of camera lenses or in front of the public or ever, to be honest. But they've decided that Luka is a superstar, for better or for worse. And it's LA. He's a white dude. This is United States. It's MAGA America right now. So they gonna milk that for all that it's worth until he's terrible. So until he's terrible, until the production doesn't exceed the headache, they got to deal with it.
Yeah, I think you're right about that one. D. Jones, last subject, man. Should Giannis Antetokounmpo have waited until next season to play, or are you of the thought process of saying, you know what, I'm glad Giannis is coming right now. He's bringing more excitement back to Milwaukee, bringing more life to Milwaukee. Where are you at with this, D. Jones?
I think him and Tatum are dumb for trying to play this season because those leg injuries take time. You don't want to re-aggravate something and pull something else. Or
how Tatum get into this? Tatum ain't playing. He's
trying to come back, right?
Word is he is, but he has not said anything about he is or not.
I'm just saying, I don't see why Giannis is playing. He's playing for nothing. They're not making the playoffs. I hope they do make the 8th seed. I really hope they make the 8th seed so the Pistons can go to the second round. That's what I really hope. But I think he loves the game. He clearly loves the game and loves playing. But just chill, bro. Just chill to next season.
Bro, I watched the game with the Celtics game, and one thing I can tell you that I watched and I didn't hear nobody saying is, bro, he lost a step. He ain't the same. Like he was able to barrel down. Was able to do that, but he wasn't the same player. You know what I mean? People, I don't know why people.
He said he was rusty himself.
He was more than not rusty, bro. He was slower, and he was noticeably slow. To me, I'm watching on TV back home, obviously, and they getting blown out by 30. Matter of fact, game went up to 35, but he was noticeably slower to me. So
and the Celtics cheat a lot. So
yeah, I ain't
they
gonna
do that.
I ain't going that far, bro, because they were hitting everything. They didn't cheat. They were playing in Milwaukee. Ain't nothing to cheat for. They ain't nothing cheat about. But they were going up by 35. But to me, the reason why I wanted to bring it up to you guys is because if he's playing slower, right, and doesn't have his step, what in the world is his thought process about playing right now? He's not going to be a Milwaukee Buck next season. I don't. That's why I'm like, you all help me with that. Help me with that, D Jones. Help me. I just don't get it.
You gotta. I don't know. I think it's idiotic.
Jay, help me, bro. Help me understand this because I don't get it.
I mean, he could still be injured. I mean, like he's just not 100%.
Right.
And basketball is a conditioning sport, man.
Right.
Like if you ain't played for a long time, like you really gotta work yourself back into shape, into game shape, to play that sport. You know what I'm saying? Because I used to joke about this, when I was coming up playing ball, and I take time off, about like my jump shot. I was like, having a great jump shot, and basketball is the same thing. It's like being married to a nympho. If you don't mess with it every day, it will go astray.
That's true. I don't think I got my handles no more.
You know what I mean? It's like being married to a nymphomaniac, baby. If you don't mess with it every day, it will go astray.
Mm-hmm.
So he's been sitting for weeks at this point. And to go out there, when them boys been in there getting it in consistently, it's gonna take a minute for him to catch up. But to go to D Jones' point, I don't understand why. Because they're not going anywhere this season.
Right.
Just put your feet up and just go ahead, and just heal entirely. Get ready, man, to force that trade this offseason and then come back and win a championship someplace else next year.
Yeah, and let's not forget, he is risking an Achilles. Because he's calf strained for weeks. That's the scary part for me. So I don't know. I mean, I sat there, bro. I sat there, looked at him play last night. I couldn't even believe that was the same player. That's how bad he looked to me. I couldn't even believe the same. Yes, he did get his couple of steps. Yes, he did get his points. Yes, he did do what he normally does. But if you had said that was Giannis, coming out and playing like that, and compared to what he, if you did a comparison for like 2 years ago, you would have noticed a complete difference. You know what I mean? And I got to say this last thing too. I don't know why Bobby Portis is still there either. And I don't know why Doc Rivers is still coaching at Milwaukee Bucks. I don't get it.
Check.
Listen, the fact that Doc Rivers is still there is confirmation that they've given up.
Yeah, I 100%.
Hey, we ain't going nowhere, man. Keep Doc.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, let me see what time it is now. We ain't got the time. I was going to jump into one more subject. But anyway, D Jones, what's going on in your world, man? And how can we follow you, then?
You follow me at 313D Jones. Right now I'm in the car. And that's it.
How was your weekend, bro? Did you do the comedy shows you were talking about?
I did Mike Drop with Tierra Moore.
Mm-hmm.
That was really, really dope show, man. We had a great time. And I met Lance Woods this weekend at the Punchline. Really good guy.
Lance Woods is hilarious too. That's my dude. Hilarious. Matter of fact, he started doing box seats with us, but he just couldn't be consistent.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my dude. Jay, how was your weekend, bro? And how can we follow you? What's going on in your world?
Follow me at JD Hayes on fan base. The weekend was great. You know what I mean? I actually watched a couple little comedy clips and stuff. And to go back, like D Jones about funny people. To me, the funniest cat out of Detroit, not named Howie Bell, my dog, is Tony Roberts.
That's my dude. Yeah.
Tony Roberts is one of the most hilarious people I've ever seen in my life because his subjects and his topics are ridiculous.
Yeah, 100% agree. That dude's
That's a good topic. Top 5 from your city.
Yeah, we could do it again. Matter of fact, I'm gonna call Tony, see if I get him on the show again if he's not traveling. Let's see, what day is today? Today's Tuesday. He probably could do Wednesday. He probably could do it tomorrow. I'll call him and ask him because that dude is hilarious. And
he's hilarious, bro.
He says the most offlandish stuff, bro. Like he can't. Let me tell y'all this one story one time, real fast. I moved to Burbank. Tony came to my crib. I don't know how he was talking, everything else. Him and his wife, and he was moving out of this place, and we were moving into this place. He comes upstairs. He looks at my clothes. And I had a small thing of tan pants. He said, "So Frank, man, When'd you start working for Blockbuster? My wife
I
fell
got put
out
out
and
of
left.
a house because of him.
Huh?
I was shooting a movie in Atlanta. They
Mhm.
gave me a room, and then one day they was like, "We need that room for somebody else." And I was like, "Who?" And he come walking up. I said, "He got money. I don't."
He might not at that time though. You know how long ago?
No,
was it?
this was a couple years ago. He had money.
Now he had money then.
He
Yeah.
had money.
Yeah, Tony is getting paid. Don't believe
he's
the hype.
hilarious, man.
Tony is getting paid.
Tony Roberts is hilarious. I mean, his subjects are crazy.
Yeah.
I went up at a comedy club, destroyed, thought I was the man that night, and then he walked in. I was like, they about to forget about me.
Yeah.
Over with.
Yo, he got a play that he's pushing to. It's hilarious on Christmas about the birth of Jesus. Man, I gotta see if I can get him to come on the show and talk about it. It was one of the funniest things I've ever heard in my life, just about the birth of Jesus. And he has this whole thing when he goes through the Bible. I'm like, man, I'm gonna call him right after this, see if I can get him to do that, because that dude is hysterical. But you know,
he is hysterical.
Yeah, he's hysterical. But anyway, the name of the show is called Box Seats. We're gonna be back tomorrow, of course, at 5:00. Howie Bell, hopefully, will be back with us tomorrow. Of course, he's doing his thing. He is in Amsterdam, and he got some situations he's dealing with. We hope to see Howie Bell tomorrow. White Chocolate will be back in the next couple of days too. This is what we do. The name of the show is called Box Seats, where we talk about sports with comedians. Thank y'all for watching. We'll see y'all. Peace.
Hey, what you need, yeah.